Welcome to Library Greenie and welcome to Album de la Creme. Are you planning a trip to Tokyo? Is this your first time doing so? Well, then you came to the right video here. I will give you my honest opinion on some of the most popular places in Tokyo among tourists. When you're planning a trip to Tokyo, the mistake people do is planning too many things on the same day. Just remember, even with good public transportation system, there always can be delays due to traffic situations, or you're getting lost because you do not know how to use Google Maps like this guy. So make sure you have two main areas on your itinerary. No more than that. I know you spent a lot of time and money and endured a long flight to Japan and you wish to do everything there is to do, but for me, it should be quality over quantity. So do not stretch yourself thin. The first place I wish to discuss is Tsukiji Fish Market. Tsukiji Market used to be a place where the auction for seafood was taking place, but now the auction house itself moved to Toyosu. But the stores and restaurants of the old market are still there, attracting a lot of tourists. Is the market fun to look around? Yes, I like the atmosphere, for sure, but it is the same for all the traditional markets. And to be honest, even though some foods were good, there simply were too many people and most of the food items were a bit overpriced. People usually go to Tsukiji to have sushi or kaisendong. I personally did not get sushi there, but I got kaisendong. Was it nice? Yes. Was it fresh? Yeah. Was it price-wise the best? Not really. Was the world-famous tamagoyaki affordable? Yes. Was it sweet, fluffy, and juicy at the same time? Yes. But was it worth waiting in line for almost 30 minutes being pushed by other tourists in line, pushing you to take selfies, and they don't even apologize? No, I mean, making tamagoyaki could be tricky, but with some practice and a bit of sugar, you can actually make it yourself. You can probably get the same kind of food you can get in Tsukiji anywhere in Tokyo with slightly better price as well. To me, Tsukiji is now simply a tourist trap full of inbound don, which is a combination word of inbound and don. So it's overpriced food items that are simply for travelers that locals would not eat. And also, to enjoy Tsukiji, people recommend that you get there early in the morning. And it means depending on where you're staying, you might possibly have to wake up early in the morning and you have to take the train during the commute hours, which will not be a fun experience for you, especially if you're somebody who doesn't like crowded places. I mean, it is definitely something to do to pass time, especially if you're planning to visit TeamLab Planets, which is about 3 stops away on bus. But would I go back to Tsukiji again? Probably not. Second place I wish to discuss is TeamLab Planets. I'm not a very social person and I'm not a big fan of taking selfies and stuff, so at first, TeamLab Planets was not really an attractive place for me and I visited there during winter time and you have to take your shoes off for the exhibitions, so I was actually a bit skeptical about the whole thing, to be honest. And the ticket price was not the cheapest, but there were areas where you wash your feet and dry your feet with towels, and they are actually included in your ticket price, so you don't actually have to pay extra for that. So taking off your shoes and walking around, it was actually not an unpleasant experience for me. And the whole exhibition is not just for Instagram. There is this area where you just go down this floppy arc cushion downhill area, which was very enjoyable. Or you can just simply rest on the floor, you can just look up the ceiling and just smell the flowers and everything. So I definitely recommend TeamLab Planets if you can travel there, and also if you're not going to be that pillock jumping into the water and start swimming. Third place I wish to discuss is not really an area but a store. Whenever you're passing crowded area in Tokyo, you will not be able to avoid the siren song of Don 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 Quijote. Beautiful. I personally, honestly, hate Don Quijote. I don't care what other people say. I find the store layout to be confusing, loud, disturbing, and flamboyant in a bad way. But Don Qui for sure comes in handy, especially if you check in late or came back to the hotel late at night and you need some toiletries, especially toothbrush. I mean, those hotel toothbrushes, they don't do shit, right? Convenience stores do have some selections, of course, but Don Qui usually has better selections compared to convenience stores, and they do offer tax-free if you purchased over 5,500 Japanese yen. But Honestly, if you're buying cosmetics or medications, you will normally get better prices in other drugstores. And if you're trying to buy food items, it's actually better to go to local supermarkets because you will for sure get more selections and better prices. But if you're worried about picking up the wrong item or if you don't have time to shop around, maybe spending 1 or 2 hours in Don Quijote just for shopping would be actually nice. Just keep in mind you might have to wait a while if you want to get the tax-free, because usually the tax-free checkout is really busy, especially in crowded areas. Next area I wish to discuss is Shibuya. Shibuya would be the destination for a lot of people due to some popular spots like Hachiko Statue, Shibuya Crossing, and Shibuya Sky, and many anime or game related shops such as Nintendo Store, Jump Store, and Capcom Store. It's also a walking distance from Harajuku. So did I like Shibuya? It was actually half and half for me. So the one in everyone's itinerary would be probably Shibuya Sky. It was actually a little bit hard to find the entrance to it, and Shibuya Sky was actually one of the reasons that made my experience in Shibuya not completely pleasant. I mean, I did enjoy the scenery very much in Shibuya Sky, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when you're traveling, you see these people who speak certain languages and they have no public decency. Not gonna name the name. There were a lot of them on the day I visited there, so I got pushed around, people just cut in line, I called them out, they ignore me and speaking in their own language. I'm not gonna name the name again. So I didn't actually have the best time there. Of course, it was just me not being lucky. So if you're actually okay with that happening, Shibuya Sky is actually a really good place to visit. I actually really like the fact that it is in the open air, so you can actually breathe in the high air. I'm a short guy, so I don't get to do that. And another popular spot, Hachiko Statue. I mean, Shibuya is just really busy in general, but it was actually quite easy to spot because there were lots of people waiting there, waiting for friends or just taking pictures. But to me, it was just a statue of Shiba Inu, and I'm not a dog person, so it was like, oh, okay. And Shibuya Scramble or Shibuya Crossing. Okay, I have to say this, why do middle-aged fat tourists always have to stop in the middle of crossroad in Shibuya Crossing and take picture with their arms high in the sky? Bitch, you do that shit in Osaka in front of Glyco-san, tuck that beer belly in and just fucking cross the street. And Jesus, wear deodorant if you're going to lift up your arms like that in public, for fuck's sake, shit! Sorry. Shibuya Crossing is certainly a cool place, especially if you're from areas where there are not that many people. It might be a cool sight to behold, but if you're from the city, it's just you will get better view of Shibuya Scramble from any other YouTube videos because they have drone views or from anime or movies. It is just super crowded crossroad. People are busy. Please don't stop in the middle of the road taking pictures. You are a guest in Japan. You want to be a main character, do a fucking dancing video on TikTok in your own living room. If you're going to make the local Japanese people the background actors, bitch, at least pay them directly. And do you know how hard it is to walk across the road after your surgery or if your legs have problem? You are being a nuisance to those kind of people for a picture that would not even turn out great. Sorry again, it's just the Lulus with the main character syndrome just triggers me. But the real gem of Shibuya for me were just the stores around the area. There are countless stores that offer interesting food options, countless bars and stores. If you played Bayonetta 3, you will also notice Shibuya 109, so if you're a big fan of games set in Tokyo, you will definitely enjoy Shibuya. Even when you are a socially awkward hermit that never leaves the house because you hate people. It's a perfect place for shopping, whether you are shopping for luxury brands, affordable clothes, anime goods, and second-hand items, you will find them in Shibuya for sure. And Harajuku, which was a walking distance from Shibuya, was not as Hello Kitty bubblegum J-pop street fashion as I expected it to be. But there were lots of interesting shops and I enjoyed the overall atmosphere on the street except for the crepes. I have another whole set of story regarding it, but this is not the place for it. I have not eaten another crepe since the winter of 2022 because of the whole thing happened there. Okay, let's just wrap it up. I do not like how crowded it gets in Shibuya, but Shibuya is definitely a place you should not exclude from Tokyo itinerary. The next area I wish to discuss is Asakusa and Skytree. Asakusa is an area I would definitely visit again if I can squeeze it in. Is it super crowded? Yes. Is it full of tourists and annoying TikTokers? Oh, for sure. But the scenery around Asakusa is definitely worth it, and the fact that it's so crowded actually makes it easier to get street food compared to Tsukiji. And there are places you can eat those food as well, just don't be eating stuff walking around, it's just frowned upon. So you will probably visit Sensoji, which is the oldest temple in Tokyo. You can also get omikuji in Sensoji, which is like a fortune-telling gachapon. It's something to do for fun, don't take it seriously. I'm not saying this just because I got super unlucky when I tried it. And the road leading to Sensoji is called Nakamisedori. It's about 250 meters long, so it's not that long, and there are lots of cute shops and snack stands leading to Sensoji. Of course, it is a bit touristy place with touristy prices, but to me, it still had more variety of food and slightly better price compared to Tsukiji. And in Asakusa, there are a few places where you can borrow kimono. Usually, if you're a woman, they will do your hair as well, but they don't do that for guys, so I was like, okay, it would be a waste of money for a guy, so I actually did not do that. But it would be a cute experience if you walked around Nakamisedori and just ate some street food and do omikuji in Sensoji for sure. And Skytree Observatory is a walking distance from Asakusa, or a very short subway ride. So make sure you visit Skytree. I enjoyed Shibuya Sky's Observatory better for sure when it comes to the scenery, but Skytree had less annoying people. And even if you're not visiting the observatory, Skytree has Soramachi Mall underneath, which houses a lot of cute stores including Kirby Cafe, Pokemon Center, and Moomin Cafe and stuff like that. And you can get this special Pikachu plush climbing Skytree in their Pokemon Center, so I would definitely include Asakusa and Skytree, or at least Soramachi Mall, in your itinerary. The next area I wish to discuss is Disney. So if you decided to include Disney in your itinerary, you will probably be trying to choose between Disneyland or Disney Sea. I think Disneyland is more catered toward families with children, and Disney Sea is more for the Disney adults, adults. If I'm being completely honest, I enjoy the scenery in Disney Sea better, and I enjoy the rides in Disney Sea better. And I enjoy souvenir shops and foods and beverages in Disneyland way better. There were more options, and I just felt like the shops were more immersively designed in Disneyland. But if I have to recommend one, I would actually recommend Disneyland. Okay, you might think, look at this bitch right here. He just said Disney Sea is better and telling us to go to Disneyland. You ain't slag. You're gonna just go to Disney Sea and you will expect a shorter line. I got like 30 subscribers here. Thank you, by the way. Okay, let me explain. Even though Disney Sea has better rides, you won't be able to ride all of them, because usually at least 1 or 2 rides will be undergoing maintenance when you visit the park. So you cannot really decide solely on the rides. And even though I said Disney Sea had better scenery, Disneyland is actually not bad as well. And the most important thing is, Tokyo Disneyland has some of the rides that are the same as when they were built. Most of the rides they were based on are either gone or changed into a completely different rides in other Disneylands. So in a way, you will get to enjoy the rides in their original form for nostalgia or a new experience. And Disneyland overall had a certain retro charm to me. And since Disney Sea is slightly more popular from the newly opened Fantasy Springs, and most of the rides in Fantasy Springs, they were actually for little kids as well. So Disney Sea is now becoming a place for both families and adults as well. So you can expect slightly shorter wait time in Disneyland now. So yes, even with Space Mountain closed until 2027, I would actually choose Disneyland over Disney Sea. The next area and the final area that I will talk about in this video is Akihabara. Most of the people visiting Japan, especially Tokyo, would include Akihabara in their itinerary, and I did stay in Akihabara in my recent trip. But the thing with Akihabara was I could see the area became more gentrified than before and were becoming very touristy. And the price for things were becoming tourist price as well. Crane game machine, for example, they were 300 yen or 200 yen per tries in Akihabara. So they were double or triple the price. And one of the things I enjoy is visiting secondhand shops like Mandarake, Surugaya or Book Off. But I didn't actually see anything that pops up to me this time. Surprisingly, I saw a lot of things that I liked in Ikebukuro once. It just seemed like the real anime area is now either Nakano, Harajuku, or Ikebukuro nowadays. Still, Akihabara is a good place to explore with different stores and the iconic tall buildings with anime characters on them. But if your main purpose is to get anime stuff, I think you will find better deals in other areas. Although I did get a good deal on these Pokemon desktop figurines in Radio Kaikan in Akihabara, so just make sure you have Amazon Japan app on your phone and you compare the price before you make the purchase. And even though I talked shit about Don Quijote earlier, I could only find Monster Hunter figurines or Monster Hunter goods in Radio Kaikan and Don Quijote this time. In Akihabara, that is. So even though it might not be what you expected it to be, Akihabara is still a good place to visit. So I hope what I ranted there will be helpful in your planning Tokyo trip, and best of luck. And if you stuck around till now and if you by chance liked the video, please like and subscribe, I guess.